language, there are laws. If you're a smoker, you need to know, can you smoke on the streets? Can you not? You need to know like their immigration law when you land at the airports, what you need to do and stuff like that. And I think with those information, you can, arm yourself and like have a good time. Then also stay connected. Connectivity. One of the things I do is
Sup, people. Welcome to the Shrine Podcast, bringing you bands with a side of seriousness since 2019. My name is Akindare, your host, and with me on the show today is...
Jemima, co-host.
Why did you say it like that? Why is it Jemima?
Jemima, but you can call me Jem.
I don't know why Jemima is trying to form sexy. But,
Hi.
I guess that's
Hi everyone. I'm good to be on the show today. Super glad to be here.
Okay, fab. Welcome everyone. Today we are joined by the amazing Kofi Dotse. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Probably not.
Kofi and I met during my time at Global Citizen, and he's a passionate storyteller and creative entrepreneur dedicated to exploring and sharing Africa's diverse cultures, landscapes, and untold stories. As a travel, culture, and lifestyle creator, Kofi spotlights ethical tourism, African arts, and conservation, aiming to foster a deeper appreciation for our continent's beauty and complexity on the global stage. He's the co-founder. Yes, it's a big deal.
Wow, sounds like a big deal. How did you even get him to come on this show?
I begged him. Let's put it that way. Let's say I begged him. Kofi is the co-founder of a budding talent agency where he nurtures and promotes emerging creatives in the editorial and commercial industries. Kofi's work has been featured on platforms that celebrate African heritage, and he often collaborates with brands and initiatives that align with his mission to elevate Africa's stories on a global stage.
Nice.
Welcome to the Shrine Podcast, Kofi.
Thank you guys for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's our pleasure to have you, my guy. Okay, let's do check-ins quickly. Jemima, how are you doing?
I'm good. Moving on. Enough said.
You can't just speed away from me like that now.
Enough said. I'm good. Okay, how am I doing? I'm okay. Generally, I'm a bit tired, like mentally, not physically. I think physically too, but like maybe no, I'm not physically exhausted, but I'm mentally exhausted. So that's just how I feel. So going into this new week, I want to unload myself and take care of that mental exhaustion. Is it exhaustion? Exhaustion,
it could be mental
right?
exhaustion, but it could also be mental exertion, like you exerted yourself too much. But let's not make it an English class.
But I'm okay. I'm good. I'm good.
If you could give us a happiness score on a scale of 1 to 10.
Happiness. That's very strong goal. Like so many things. I require so many things to be happy right now in life.
It's not about work or any specific thing, just in life in general. And it's okay if you're not like, the happiest. Right. You cannot be happy 100% all the time.
No, I can't. Exactly. Yeah, because there's always room for improvement. Okay. Happiness number, I would say 8. 8.
Very good. Love to hear it. That is a very high number.
I know, right?
That's good. Long mates, continue.
Amen.
Kofi, your turn.
I think I'll do a solid 9.
Solid.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
Am I doing something wrong in life?
Wait, what's yours?
I'm not I was gonna say like a 6 or something. I was gonna say
6 is not bad. 6 is good. It's not bad.
It's not bad. Just above average.
Fair points. Okay. Yeah, I'm doing okay as well. Thank you for asking.
Oh, sorry. Apologies. How you doing?
I'm doing okay as well.
How was your week? What did you get up to this week?
Can I even
Two things.
Oh my God. Do you know what happened? I did something, Kofi, and I think you especially will be proud of me for this, right? I took my camera, right? And I went out into the town by myself.
Into the streets.
I don't have any assistant. And took pictures. I took pictures of people, pictures of things. Like it was incredible. So
it's like the pictures were really good.
Yeah. Let's quickly check in on, I guess, do you think it will be different? Like how would you say like how your week has been is different or dramatically different from how your year has been so far. Today is the 25th. So we are 25 days into
now.
the year. No, I just want to get like a summation of, because when you feel like your year is off to a good start, then
things go well.
Hopefully.
No, I started my year with mental exhaustion, right? So I mean, comparing my week with my year, yes, it's happiness level. However, no, I would not want my year to feel this way.
To feel like your week has failed.
Yeah.
Interesting. Kofi, what about you?
Kofi on a 9. I bet he would want his year to definitely feel like his week has been.
You don't know that now. Although Kofi just got a very special gift that he posted on Instagram. But I'm not going to push you out there like that.
Don't come for me. Honestly, my week has been packed. Like, my week has been extra packed. Like,
wow.
I'm working on this new campaign, and there's just so much things I have to do at the same time. So, put the check, reach out to influencers, like create a team. It's just a whole lot, and have like very short time to build that, and so it's just crazy. And the week just went by so fast. But the one thing I'm just happy is because I'm just grateful that gift of life, and I'm able to do something like this. And like the fact that I'm able to use my creativity to pull things together to make things work, just like exciting for me.
Right.
So even though busy, I'm so like happy about it.
Yeah. So it's good to be. That's the kind of busy you want. That's a good kind of busy.
Good kind of busy.
Right?
Not my own kind of busy that is mentally exhausting me.
I mean, your own kind of busy is also good because you're gonna get paid.
Now I'm doing my job.
Me, I'm busy and I'm not getting paid yet. Yet.
Okay, yet.
Okay.
That's like a, what would I say it now? Charge to people that listen to this podcast.
Yeah, so
you should tell your uncles and aunties, brothers, friends, lovers, and haters.
Please. Okay. I've opened shop. I now have my own business, my own creative production and strategy business. Please patronize me, please.
Bego, okay, your market.
Help. Okay. Lovely. Thank you guys for sharing with the people. We love it. Thank you so much. Okay. On to the business of the day. Jemima, what do we have on the menu today?
Today, we'll be talking about alpha topic. So what is the internet mad about? Or what are we mad about? No. No, what are we mad about? But what is the internet mad about?
The internet is mad about a couple things.
Yeah.
Such as
the internet feels that that a woman scamming a man, right, is much more worse, right? Like a woman scamming a married man is worse than the married man cheating on his wife. Does that make sense? So a woman scamming a married man in the process of him trying to cheat on his wife is worse than him actually trying to cheat on his wife. So the internet feels that like it's the woman that is trying to scam that should be slighted and that should be condemned and that should be spoken to, not the man that was trying to cheat on his wife with her.
I mean, so if in case you guys missed it, this was the whole thing on Twitter maybe like 2 weeks ago. I'm never going to call you X. Like, let's move on.
Elon Musk come and find you.
That is Elon Musk's problem. Like, I can't do that. Okay, it's Twitter to me. It's going to be Twitter forever. The end. Okay. Like my friend and Jemima were here last night, and so I asked them a question about like what can men do better, right? And one of the points that they said was that like cheating is cheating. That like in I don't know how it is in Ghanaian culture. You can correct me, Kofi. But in Nigerian culture, like we have these things like, oh, men will be men.
Yeah.
Or, men will definitely cheat. So it's like cheating is normalized in our culture, which it does not make sense to me, But like, I don't know what it is like on the Ghanaian side.
I think it's the same here. I mean, when it comes to cheating, there's a higher percentage of the blame going to like men. Like men are trash, men cheat a lot, and they don't really seem to get it. But then it kind of feels like when men cheat, then it's more painful. But then when men cheat, they kind of feel like it's supposed to be normal, like it's okay,
like it's okay.
Cheat,
Wow. Okay.
There's just a lot of conversation of this going on Twitter, like for a long time. Every time somebody has cheated, and generally has to be like the man. I mean, it's the man's fault, and it's always going in that direction. So for me, I think it cuts across, especially in like the African context.
Yeah.
You remember there was this video of this Equatorial Guinea government official, like just women, like in the. I'm like, this is crazy. Like,
crazy.
That
oh my
Jesus
God.
That's what
wild.
was insane. That was an insane story.
With videos and all, pictures, receipts. Hey.
And they were Nigerian men championing the guy. They would say, it's a bad guy. It's this, it's that. Why are we like this?
There was a whole hype about the issue, and it got to a point. Equatorial got a lot of limelight. Like, we're from this country. Like, people didn't even know there was a country called Equatorial Guinea. All this thing came. I'm like, can we be serious?
Like, can we be serious?
And what this country became famous for was because it was on CNN, it was everywhere. Like that was nuts.
BBC everywhere.
The lesson here, I think, is my fellow Nigerian and Ghanaians and
my fellow African men.
By extension, cheating is cheating. Okay, just because you as a guy is doing it does not make it better. Okay, does not improve what it is. Okay, cheating is cheating. Thank you very much, and God bless. THB. Moving on. Moving on, I just want to quickly touch on another thing that's really been in the news, which is obviously climate change.
Climate change is real.
Climate change is real. Okay, the fires in LA have just recently,
crazy.
Been, I don't know. I can't even say if it was dealt with. I think the fires just kind of died down and passed, right? So, and it's not today that crazy weather events have been happening. Okay, all kinds of weird flooding in Florida. I don't know, Kofi, if you saw it. There was snow in Florida. Anybody that knows anything about Florida will tell you that like snow is literally, the video I saw, the news reporter was like, there is no snow clearing equipment in sight. And this thing has been going on for like 2 days, right? Because literally maybe there's not one person in the whole of Florida that owns a snow shovel because they've never seen snow before. Do you get it? So there's the fires, there's snow in Florida, there's all these crazy things happening. People of the world, climate change
is real.
Okay? Climate change is fucking real. But we'll get more into that in the course of the show because we have Kofi here who is, a sustainability champion. So he'll give us some education on that. And I think lastly on how far is Americans.
Good luck, it go be like the people always say.
I wish you all nothing but the best. Because let me just tell you, in the first couple of days of Trump's presidency, Kofi, I don't know if you're aware of this, right? He has already withdrawn the US from the Paris Climate Agreement for the second time because he did that the first time. He has withdrawn the US from the World Health Organization, and he has banned birthright citizenship and threatened like 6 countries already.
But is anybody even surprised?
I mean, I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised.
Because, I feel like he said he was going to do all these things. So like,
they still voted for him now.
It just makes sense that like, that's what is happening. So to all my American friends, from the Shrine Podcast.
My thoughts and prayers, our thoughts and prayers are with you.
On behalf of myself.
No, not that you people are dead, but
on behalf of myself, Jemima and Kofi, we wish you guys the best for the next 4 years.
If you need some tip, reach out to Nigerians. They've been going through it for years. Like,
I think Ghanaians just got free like recently, right? You guys just had a new president, right? And I know that Nana was not popular.
Don't talk about him, please. Don't talk about him.
Like, don't even go there, right? I get you.
At the right time.
Like, don't even go there.
Of the country.
I feel the same.
Yeah. Like, who builds a statue for himself? Like, when you're not even out of office, we haven't even done anything. Like, who the statue please yourself. Who does that? Like,
no, African leaders are something else. Right? African leaders are something else.
I think they turned the statue down already. Like,
they turned it down, yeah. They broke it down. And the funny thing was, the statue was still laughing. You can tell me
It's a lot of regard for me.
Oh my God.
It's audacity.
Oh man. Okay. Yes.
Right.
We're happy for our Ghanaian, friends. Hopefully, I wish the same for Nigeria. Amen.
Amen. No.
Quickly before we get on with the show, today's wine is what's this? Today's wine, this is Jemima that picks this. So if we drink it and it tastes like crap, you guys know what to do. Okay? It's called 19 Crimes. It has a lot of writing on it.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's about.
No, but it has the history somewhere there.
Okay, so it's called 19 Crimes. Each declared by His Majesty to be punishable on conviction by transportation. Okay, I think this is like some marketing copy that's going on here. Okay. This is the dark red, rich with a plush finish, distinctly sweet with notes of dark chocolate, cloves, and dark forest fruits. All this preamble, this gin is not worth it. It does not taste good. Okay.
No, it tastes good. You know, I know my wine.
And it has, I think this person is a criminal.
Yeah, the person is wanted.
You can see.
That's why I'm wanted. That's why I'm wanted. No, read the...
What else?
That is the story of the wine.
On the back? Okay.
Yeah.
So 19 Crimes, a liquid ode to our past. 19 Crimes is inspired by those who, beginning in 1788, were transported to Australia for a life of hard labor. Many did not survive the journey. Yeah. For the sun-beating people who made it ashore, a new world awaited. As pioneers in a harsh frontier colony, they forged fresh pathways and built new lives from their checkered past brick by brick. This wine honors the history they wrote and the culture they built. Okay. So
rooted in culture.
Okay, I'm reading that and what's just coming to my mind is, so Jemima was like walking in the aisle at the supermarket and then she took her time to read all these epistles. All these stories.
I did. I found it very relevant.
Okay. Anyways, we're going to give it a try. Yeah. Kofi told us before the show he was going to have a bottle of wine and he failed us. Kofi has water instead, so he's going to be drinking water. All right, we can get on with the show while we test out what the wine is saying. Okay, moving on to our curiosity session. How travel and cultural exchange can serve as tools for personal growth, empathy, and global understanding.
Before you go, when I saw the topic and when you said, this is what we're going to talk about, right? I was like, it's nice. So then I looked at the episode note. I was like, how travel and cultural exchange. I was like, this is very deep. And I was so excited. I was like, I'm just going to come here and soak up all the knowledge from Kofi, right? And
she's used that to excuse herself.
No, I'm not excusing myself. As you know, I am well traveled, okay?
Girl,
so whatever. I could definitely contribute, but I'm just saying that, like,
you're sure.
I was just saying that, like, I was so excited because, like, of Kofi's profile and, like, what he does and what he knows. So
Kofi's a traveler. Yeah, Kofi's a citizen of the world.
And I think his own travel is actually the real one that we're talking about, not the one that I'm doing.
It's like he's well traveled.
I'm well traveled,
He's work that I say, okay, go and work here for
life.
She wants to claim it as.
No, I wasn't claiming it.
Nonsense. Okay. Real quick, Kofi, what are your thoughts on? Because when we talked about like travel and cultural exchange as tools for personal growth and empathy, that really connected to me because obviously I don't live in my home country anymore, but also like I've been privileged. I've been lucky enough to be able to travel to a few places around the world, and I can absolutely connect with the idea that cultural exchange is definitely like it helps you grow as a person. It helps you see yourself it helps you see the world outside of yourself. It helps you empathize with like other cultures and what other people are going through or experiencing. And obviously global understanding is like so what are your thoughts specifically on travel and cultural exchange?
I think for me, when it comes to travel and cultural exchange I think Africa kind of has majority of that. Because like realize anytime you travel across the continent from like one place to the other, you realize that there's this uniqueness when it comes to culture, like our food, the way we dress, the way we do our things. And even though we may be kind of different from each other, there's something that's like we can all relate to. for example, I know Nigerians like use palm nut to like make soup, prepare like delicious soup. Ghanaians also prepare like palm nut soup. And I'm sure elsewhere somewhere, different West African countries, somebody also like does something with palm nuts.
Yeah.
So something like this, we can actually relate with things as unique as even food. So I think culture really plays a very important role when it comes to travel. I mean, we travel because of culture. We want to experience the nightlife scene. We want to experience the local scene. I want to experience like a festival. Like want to experience like just a normal day. Let's say in Dakar, like how is like how is Dakar like on the like first week of October? Like people walking the streets, going to the market scenes and all that. So culture kind of plays a very important role. And when you travel, you kind of like see this like printed like the faces of the people, and you come to appreciate how vast, how diverse like the world is. Like and
from how
just so many treasures and things to find. So culture, when it comes to travel, like is very paramount for me, and those are the kind of things that kind of like I'm drawn to. So I'm culturally relevant, cultural forward countries. I'm really tired of. I kind of visited Abidjan, and I kind of fell in love with the city so much because I could just relate like the vibe.
With the vibe. Even though you're Ghanaian, like I think that's one of the things that you just said now that I picked up is that like there's something that ties us right, every African country, like me personally, right, I'm not very versatile with my palate when it comes to food, right? So I just, whenever I travel anywhere, I just try to look for something Nigerian that I can have. But every time I've gone to an African country, like, you know, Kenya or like any other place I've been to, I could always find something. It's not Nigerian food per se, right? But I could find something that I could relate to, that made me feel like, okay, I'm home, or made me feel closer to like my own, you know, what I would eat at home, or like my own culture, my own heritage and everything like that. And I would even see, like you just said, was it palm kernel soup you were saying? I think I went to, can't remember now, one of these countries, and I wanted to have okra soup, right? And the guy was like, oh yes, we have okra. And I was like, it's pretty. I was like, show me a picture. And then he showed me a picture. It was like seafood okra. I'm like, it's the same thing. So that's, you know, thing that ties us like across all the countries. I think that was what I picked. I like that.
Because like, I mean, on food points,
you even mentioned something about having like a diverse palette. And one thing I've really come to have for myself is like, I think I've grown to have that experience, having a diverse palette. Like you realize that anytime you travel to either East Africa, West Africa, I mean, it's culturally unique in this setting. There are some people there's some cuisines that are not so spicy. For example, I know Nigerians love a lot of pepper and spice.
See them here.
Also, I need spice. Exactly. That's one of the things I also do. I'm like, I always take my pepper along when I'm traveling, because like that food, I need it to be spicy.
Just say you're used to suffering. That's just say you like suffering.
So you see,
it needs to
so like when you go to East Africa, they don't really like a lot of spicy stuff. Like if the little spice they feel, it's too like spicy for them. So like you get to have these experiences, and it gives you like a rich palate.
When I was in Nairobi years back, right, to be honest, I couldn't like get with the food. Specifically because of that thing that you just said, Kofi, about like them not liking spice. Like I was saying to me, I was like, the food tastes very like bland. Like I didn't think that like, it's just like a cultural, like they just don't do spice in this part of the world, you know? On the flip side, if you go to India, or if you go to like China, you know, or Nigeria, like Kofi said, like you better be ready for your spice, because they'll nearly kill you, you know? So that's an interesting point. Do they do similar things with food like Ghanaians do, where it's like there's like 6 or 7 things on the plate at once?
Yeah, we have similar things. I did like a local food safari, and then most of the things that I had, like we had like a Ghanaian version of that. Like there was this dried okra soup, and we have a Ghanaian version of that. And it was just so good to kind of experience that like in a different country.
That is so interesting.
Kind of showed how unique Africa can be. Because just food alone, you can actually imagine.
Interesting. That has got me thinking now, right? Because Cote d'Ivoire is a French-speaking country,
Mm-hmm.
and Ghana it's an Anglophone country, right? Yet there's a Ghanaian version of food that is in, even though maybe they spoke similar languages like back
then, right?
before the colonial.
They actually speak Akan. Ivory Coast, though, to the Akan Empire from Ghana stretches as far as like the west and Ivory Coast. So along the coast, you find people speaking Nzima, like native, like Akan dialects. I even found like a Nzima palace all the way in Grand Bassam. So just along the coast, along the borders of Ghana, you kind of find people who speak, Akan. And they have like an Akan festival and all that. And it's just so unique.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
That is interesting. So look at now. We said we've already divided the two countries. We said one is Francophone, one is Anglophone. Whereas once upon a time they were the same.
They were the same.
The only thing colonialists
They just came here to divide everything. But Kofi, I have a question for you, like random, but also not random. Has there been a place you've been to that when you got there, what you met or the experience that you had was different from what you had read about or what your perceived notion about that place?
That's a good question.
Because people write a lot of things and you see a lot of things, and then you now get there, it might not be
Most
that
of them
same.
are lies. Most of them are lies. People lie a lot. Don't believe those people. People lie a lot. I think sometimes people visit somewhere and they have like bad experiences, so they want to like paint a bad picture about the place, which is something that I hate. Like I advocate against. Like the fact that you have had a bad experience doesn't mean everybody's gonna have a bad experience.
Yeah.
If you consider somewhere you had like a bad experience, don't make it feel bad for everyone. Don't discourage others from like going to experience it. Like you don't do that. Like you're not better than anyone. Like those countries, they are there for like a purpose. You don't just because you had like a bad experience. So
You just want to
experience that. No,
yeah.
I personally really had that. Even if I had that, it's okay to have like bad experiences. It's like a normal thing. Things happen when you go and all that. You can get robbed or something, but it doesn't mean that's like a general overview of
how the place is, right?
Yeah, because like there's robbers everywhere in the world, right? Like
everywhere.
There's a country that don't have robbers. I'd like to hear about that.
How about you? What's like a place that you've been to that because you went there, like you experienced some level of growth personally, or you gained some kind of understanding that you didn't already have, or
I feel
no?
like this question is deeper than the one that you asked Kofi, but
It's the same now. It's still the same. I'm tying it all together because we're saying travel and cultural exchange as a tool for personal growth, right? So I'm just zeroing in on like, okay, if there is like any place you've been to, anywhere you went, and then just the experience that you had there made you like a better person, or you took something out of that experience that you kind of translated into your own personal life. See me acting like I'm doing questionnaire, like I'm interviewing y'all.
Oh shit.
I'll say I think maybe when I went or the times I've been to Kigali.
I was hoping you were going to say Kigali because you mentioned, I think for all your African countries that you've gone to, Kigali is the most recurrent place you've mentioned. Like you always remember something about, you're watching something, you're seeing something. When I was in Kigali.
Yeah.
When I was in Kigali.
First of all, I think I've been to Kigali maybe thrice or so. So it's the African country I've been to the most. In terms of number of times, I think I've only been to Nairobi like twice. But Kigali for me, because of they obviously have this very negative and this very dark history.
Yeah.
And
and it's still there.
It's still there, right?
Yeah.
So, but like the fact that they don't hide from it. We can debate, whether that, like if the way the country is dealing with it is the best way, but like they don't hide from it, they don't run from it. Like it's almost like it's normal to engage with that dark history, for them. And to me, because I think naturally as human beings, we are wired to like stay away from the not so good parts of ourselves, like,
or ignore it, or act like it's not there.
Exactly. It makes us feel uncomfortable. It makes us feel less than. We're like, why am I not?
I should be this person.
Exactly.
I should be up here.
Exactly. So and there's nothing that you're going through physically that can be as horrible as a genocide, like individually as a person, except you are in a genocide. Then in that case,
what if you have cancer? It's almost
okay. It's not the suffering Olympics. Okay, it's not the suffering Olympics, but you get the point.
Yeah.
That like. So that stood out to me, that like, man, I'm always trying to hide and run away from my own flaws, and like I like engaging my own shortcomings does not come to me naturally, right? And I think that's the same for most people. So like learning about that and like physically being in the country on the ground and seeing how people actually are living that, like dealing with that every day of their lives, I thought was very interesting. And so personally now I try to be upfront with myself about like, you know, the things I'm not so good at, and like not be like, you're a dead guy, you're a useless guy, or you're a failure or whatever. You know, I mean, you know, it's a work in progress, because obviously Rwandans have been working on this reconciliation and all of this for years and decades, right? So that would be my thing. I think
nice.
The one thing that,
and you're like, that's so deep, but like you already have the answer. You know the answer.
No,
now.
you
have to dig in deep.
Exactly. I need to check my archives. Like, where can I
digging deep.
You know.
Right? Yeah.
Kofi, what about you? Have you been anywhere and like the experience that you had there made you like think, I need to change XYZ or do XYZ in my life differently, that like led to like a moment of personal growth?
I think when it comes to like freedom of movement and doing things, I think some countries are more privileged than others. Like, let's bring it into context. So like the way I can move around in Ghana, like around 2 a.m. and like freely, without getting back. We can't do that same thing, let's say like in Nairobi somewhere, like you can get marked, or even Johannesburg. It's like you don't get it easy. So I feel sometimes we kind of exalt countries higher than others. Okay, this country looks like all good, economy is all good. However, they have a certain negative side to it. This country doesn't have like all the good stuff, like economy wise, like infrastructure, but then there's a bit of freedom in doing things. So just come to realize, appreciate like wherever I am, and like the opportunity to be able to have access to things that people within the same continent don't have access to. So I think that, and we have to like count these things, like, and just like realize that it's a privilege and it's actually a blessing to have things like that. You know, so yeah.
Like to piggyback off of his point, when I went to Morocco, I mean, I think that's also like my own response is also similar to his, which is that like everything is a privilege, right? Like for me to be able to even interact with people and like understand people. Because when I went to Morocco, imagine my shock when I realized that they spoke French.
How were you shocked?
I was just shocked. I was just like, no, I know it was, but like I was just like, okay, maybe, you know, we are both Africans now. Like, why can't we understand ourselves? Because I was trying to like have interactions and, you know, just engaging with like everyday daily people, like normal people, like cab guys, or, you know, I'm going to the store, but like I found it difficult to interact with them and engage with them because of the language barrier. But when I was coming in my head, I was like, African country. So I should be able to like interact and engage with them. But that experience just taught me like, okay, you know what? Sometimes what you perceive or what you know, what you feel like you know is not really what it is. So sometimes you have to like be patient or like understand that like when you have engagements with certain people, you need to contextualize it, right? Or like you just have that, how will I call it now? Patience to sort of like engage with them, because I was almost getting agitated. Like, why don't you understand what I'm saying? Like, don't you understand English? How can't we engage with ourselves? And I was using Google Maps. Google Translate rather. But context, it's just,
that is the first Francophone country you've been to. Yes.
Yeah, that is. Yes, it is.
Okay. So what I'm hearing from that is essentially like everybody kind of lives in their own sort of bubble of the world. Like everybody thinks like their version of reality
is what is,
for the most part, is, you know, is what is. Like you think, oh, you know, Africa, like, you know, but the truth is like even within Europe, like there's different, you know, people speak different languages, and, you know, there's different, that's another thing why this topic I really love this topic, because even So just like to your point, Jemima, right? Within Africa, there's so many diverse cultures, like individual countries. Like I'm sure there's like, I don't know how many languages there are in Ghana, right? But South Africa has minimum of 12 official languages, right? Nigeria has like, I don't know, 300 and something or 400 and something tribes, right? And they all have their own distinct languages. Within Europe, each country, like,
they have their own
different languages.
Even in the UK, in England, like, everybody,
exactly,
like not
the Scottish accent is all
different
English,
from,
it's different from the Irish accent, is different from
Northern,
So, like, ultimately, I think the bigger lesson for all of us and for our audience, essentially, is that, like, no matter how much you think your corner of the world is representative of the world at large, it is not.
It's not.
It is not. And I think in Africa, we need, obviously, you need the economic means to be able to travel, and traveling in Africa is...
I want to hear from Kofi, like, because you mentioned, I like to go to African countries a lot. And I know the challenge of moving around in African countries as an African, by the way. That thing just like blows my mind. I'm like, why can't I travel to another African country as an African? Like, I can travel to Canada or the US or UK easily as a Nigerian than I can travel to what country should I even call now? Maybe even Abidjan, right? Because it's like Cote d'Ivoire. It's just like, why is it so difficult to move around?
Kofi, what say you? You are the most experienced African traveler on this show.
I keep having this conversation all the time. Like, traveling within Africa is a lot. It's expensive, and access, like dealing with immigration, borders, like flights. It's just a whole lot. So, guys, it's not easy as like traveling within Europe. Like, I can travel from like UK to France via train. I can't do that from like Benin to Togo or even Accra to like Lomé. It's crazy, and flight prices are like
so high, so high.
It just it doesn't make sense. Like, for countries that are close by, like, you should actually make it easy to just travel. Like, if you want to go to Abidjan, I don't expect like
I even believe that as Africans, we should not be getting visa to go to another African country, West Africa or North Africa or East Africa, whatever. Like, why are we segregating and separating ourselves like that? And then it will now be so difficult for you to even move around and enter another African country. Somebody who's living in Europe or somebody who's like British can easily go to another African country than you that you're an African trying to move from one place to another. Like, I just don't get it.
What sort of immersions have you had with other cultures that you really liked?
I think for immersion, I think I've kind of had like a lot within East Africa, within West Africa. Then South Africa, I think those are the places I've really been to, like, majorly. So, like, dancing with the Maasai, getting to know their culture.
I've not done that. What is that like?
What's what like?
Like dancing with the Maasai.
Oh, dancing.
People always do that. You've been on a safari, right?
No, I haven't.
No?
Africans don't go on safari. I'm sorry. Africans don't like going on safari.
Sorry. I have. Sorry. My brain was like safari, like the safari thingy at Dubai is what my brain was registering. Apologies. I have been to the National Safari Park in Kenya.
That thing that you just said now, Kofi, that Africans don't like safari.
Okay, yeah, Africans don't like safari because on the typical like game drive, it's only white. You only see white people.
But yeah, on that point, right? What you were saying earlier about like travel being difficult within Africa, right?
Yeah, thank you.
So I don't know if you know this, but over here, like in the UK and in the UK at least, and in Europe in general, right? Like white people love to travel. They are shit. Any small thing, holiday. Any small thing, holiday. I'm going on holiday. They want to go to all the countries, everything, right? So I wonder if like the infrastructure and processes for traveling within Africa are the way they are because
we don't have a traveling culture.
Yeah, we don't have a traveling culture. Now I say this also knowing that maybe modern Africans don't have a traveling culture because of colonialism.
Yeah, because like,
it might be that, our forefathers loved to
in
travel.
them days, they could have been traveling.
Culture there, but like now, maybe not so much, right? I wonder what you guys think about that. Like, do you think part of why it's so hard to travel within Africa is because similar to the way we don't like safaris, like we don't have a culture of like traveling. I think, to me, at least from a Nigerian perspective, at least in my own experience, it seems to me like traveling is a rich person thing. It's like
it's a privilege.
Be like, I want to travel to this place. I want to travel to this place, right? But
it's a luxury rather, not privilege. It's a luxury,
right? But like to the point of the topic of the podcast, of the episode, right? It's like it needs to be something that everyone can do. It needs to be part of our culture that like, traveling is good. And
because if you want to gain understanding of the world, you do need to travel, right? I remember like before I left the four walls of Nigeria, obviously I knew things. I knew things, and I could, talk about certain things and like engage in certain conversations and all of that. But like when I traveled, I had a better understanding about certain things that I used to say about certain places, because now I have been there. I have interacted with the people. I've spoken to them, empathized with them. I've understood, well, maybe not understood, but I've sort of immersed myself in their culture for that short period of time. So when I'm speaking from a more informed place rather than what I read or what I know, right? It just makes me, that's one of the things I'm so grateful for about like just being able to travel, is I can now say things with confidence about a place because I have been there and I engage with them and interacted with them, so I know firsthand. I might not be living with them, or I might not be living there full time. Their lived experience, but I did go there and I did like engage with them. But yeah.
Interesting.
I didn't answer your question, but maybe Kofi will answer your question.
Yeah, it was originally directed at Kofi.
Oh my God. I'm sorry.
You usurped him.
Sorry. Please go.
Why it's so difficult to travel within the African continent is because we technically don't have a culture of traveling similar to the way Europeans have.
Yeah, I think that is another factor, and the fact that we don't have the infrastructure. Like I mentioned earlier, I can actually travel from like London to Paris via train. When it comes to options of travel, we are kind of limited within the continent. Okay? It's either by road or by air, and the latter costs like an arm and leg. And going by road you have to deal with immigration officers. You have to do like so many issues. So infrastructure wise, we don't really have that luxury, and then we haven't really built the culture. They're not beginning to like build that culture of travel, because Africans on a normal day wouldn't like to go on a vacation. Like we didn't have like a disposable income to like
Kofi, there's so much going on in our lives that we can't think about taking a vacation,
No.
We are busy trying to fight our leaders.
Exactly. That's a good one. The only time an African will go on a vacation, maybe on like a honeymoon after they get married. Okay, then they're going to go to Dubai. And even when it comes to like vacation options, Africa is not part of the conversation.
Yeah.
Outside Africa,
somewhere else. Outside Africa, you see. So
that's true, actually.
It's a lot. It's mad.
Interesting.
I mean, that's how I feel. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, I believe how you feel
because you're the expert. You're the expert here.
More than most of us. Has anybody made a friend?
Yes, I have.
Outside of their country,
I have.
Like
I have a Kenyan friend.
Outside of country, on one of your what? Relax.
Kenyan friend.
Let me even land. Yeah.
Melissa, funny enough, she heard about this podcast and she texted me and she was like, "Jemima, you have a podcast?" I was like, "Yeah." That's true. I should have sent it to you. And, she was like, "Oh, I'm going to listen to it." And she listened and gave me some feedback.
Basically, what Jemima is saying is that she has not been evangelizing.
No, I have. Not,
she's not been doing a good job.
I have. Shut up. I have. I just meant like my Kenyan friend. But yeah, I have made a friend. That's your question. You're going to ask.
No, I don't know that I've made a friend, actually. I mean, I've made friends where I live now. But like, I've not gone like on a trip. Okay, actually, I take that back. I've gone on a trip to a country and made friends. It's just that, those friends don't persist today. They don't exist today. So, when first were, like we met and we got talking and we exchanged contacts and we did all the things. And
but it did not.
Somehow it just, the flames died.
I'm sure Kofi's had made loads of friends or acquaintances.
Yeah, for me, the goal is to make friends from every African country, like on the continent. So
how many do you have?
Wow.
So far, I think most of my friends are in Nigeria. Yeah, that's like.
Look at that. I had no idea that you had a lot of Nigerian friends.
Oh, loads. Like,
wow, no wonder when you were saying the Nigerian, like you were saying O'Shea. I was like,
by the way, I've just been holding myself from saying a lot of Nigerian slang. It's like, will you get it? But like now that you say you have loads of, because one thing I know Nigerians like to do is tell you about their slang and teach you their slang and like make you, they might not be doing it consciously sometimes, but like just because you're in close proximity with them and you're friends with them, you kind of like pick up their lingos. So I don't think anything will be lost on you. Thank you for saying that. So after Nigeria, what's your second top?
I think South Africa. Yeah.
I've never been to South Africa.
Maybe East Africa.
Nice.
Wow, interesting.
So you want to make a friend from every African country? That's the very big ambition.
Friends, Kofi. That's a huge.
And it kind of helps. It kind of helps because if you decide to, let's say, visit a new country you're not familiar with, and like somebody there, they could help assist in so many things, like help you find a way. Even if you are stranded, you could actually like get hosted by them. Like
true.
The first time I visited Kenya, a friend actually had to host me because it was my first time. Like I was trying to find my feet. Even though like I had a fair idea of like the way things run in the country, I just want to just like really immerse myself in the local scene. So I decided to like stay with a friend so I could better understand like the culinary scene, like the way they go about their things, teaching me things like if you decide to move to Kenya, like what the best things to do, like rent issues, like so many things you can actually learn from like the local. So like making friends. We are African, so it makes sense to make friends and be friends with any African. You don't know where you find yourself.
Yeah.
And you're all culturally united or linked. So like making friends with people in the continent kind of helps. And like it gives you access, like of course, and it's really beneficial.
Yeah. I do make friends with like the taxi guys.
Would you call those friends?
But I have their numbers and, I chat them on WhatsApp sometimes.
That, like maybe, 8 months later, you go to this country, then you message the taxi guy and be like,
before I go, a month before I go, I'll just like, I'll drop a message. You remember me? I'll send a selfie.
Those are friendships of convenience to my mind.
Absolutely, yeah. And this is very funny because I read one of the reading research in the episode notes, and one of the things that we're talking about was how people interact with like the locals of like where they travel to, and how they kind of like understand and empathize with what they are really going through, as opposed to like, coming and taking the Ubers and going on the fancy, boat trips and boat cruises and all of that. But like, how is where you have traveled to, like, how is it really, how are you really understanding them there in terms of like what is their mode of transportation, what are some of their struggles that they go through? Like, are you really interacting with the local people in that sense, or are you just I'm here, they're all smiles and you take picture with them and so this is a drag
you can experience
to myself.
You can experience countries however you want to experience it. But my friend Fuad always says, and there's a question on the back of this, my friend Fuad always says, if you go to anywhere that you're not familiar with, talk to the cab guys.
That's what actually I think I read that something, or you've told me you said that, and that's what I do.
Right. Kofi, how do you, so actually the question is, because I have social anxiety, and so like going out and like interacting with people is not really my strongest suit. Yeah. And I imagine there are many people that are in similar shoes. I'm one of those people that like, if I go to a new country, I'm more likely to like just stay in my hotel or like the Airbnb or wherever I'm at, And part of why I wanted Kofi on was also because like when Kigali together at the end of December, in December of 2023, right? And And Kofi will like go out, you get on, you take a bike, like, you go out, you have this 360 camera, like you make videos. I'm having heart palpitations through all of this. I'm like, oh my God, how is this guy doing this? So I guess the question is like, how do you, like, what sort of advice, and if you have any as well, Jemima, like what sort of advice would you give to people that are maybe in my shoes, that they don't feel as comfortable, like just going out and seeing the sights, and like I went to Amsterdam for a week and I did not enter a single museum, So like, what advice do you have for people that are like maybe shy or maybe they have social anxiety, like when they're in a new country, like what are some tips or tricks?
Number one, don't go alone. Kofi, please go for it.
So I think when it comes to like experience, I think every person has something they can actually go for. If you're not the outgoing type of person, you could actually like do private stuff. I mean, you could book private experiences. If you don't want to get like in a crowd like with other people, or you don't really want to go out, or there are some experiences that are not really demanding, like making you do the extra. So you could go for such experiences. And honestly, you can find the thing there. One thing about experiences is you never know until you get to go and then do it. And then you realize, okay, I never knew I had this side of me. And I think coming on this experience has actually helped me discover that other characteristics about myself. So I think it's about just having that curiosity mindset, having that willing to discover something out of the ordinary. So it doesn't have to be like, I need to go out. I need to do
that. Nice. That's actually a very good point. That's actually
mindset.
Curiosity. That's actually a good point.
You guys heard it here first.
I'll take that.
In your travels, ensure to have a curiosity mindset. Okay, because Kofi said so, but that is very, very powerful. I was going to say, in the same time that Kofi and I were in Kigali, one of my favorite things that happened on that trip was myself, Kofi, Darnell, my friends Kanye, and a couple other people. We went to this bookstore in Kigali, and like they made me do it because like I was fine being my
But they're like,
let's go out, let's go check out this bookstore. Like we went to the bookstore and we had like coffee, we had like nice drinks and snacks, and like Kofi showed me this this app that like takes like it puts like vintage filters on like your pictures. I think it's called Fido or Fico or something like that, right? And we took some pictures and like we're looking at like the Rwandan hills and all the greenery. It was very, very lovely. And thank you guys for making me do that. I absolutely loved it. That was one of my favorite things on that trip.
Yeah.
What about you? Do you have any tips for people that are?
I already said my tip. Don't go alone. Okay. But now that Kobe has said, have a curiosity mindset, because if you do go alone and you have a curiosity mindset, then you can have like the experience, right? Yeah. I would say just understand the place that you're going to. First of all, do the first level of research for where you're going to or where you intend to go to. So you understand like their currency, their language, their laws. If you're a smoker, you need to know, can you smoke on the streets? Can you not? You need to know like their immigration law when you land at the airports, what you need to do and stuff like that. And I think with those information, you can, arm yourself and like have a good time. Then also stay connected. Connectivity. One of the things I do is when I go to any country, as soon as I'm landing in the airport, I buy a SIM. You do too. Because like that's just how you have to, because like if you then go to the Airbnb or wherever it is, you have to use the Wi-Fi. But when you're out, what do you need to do? Especially because this is also tied to safety. Sometimes like because you need to be able to, especially if you're there alone. I don't advise being there alone, but like if you're there alone, like and you're outside and you don't have connectivity, like how are you going to tell people where you are? So as soon as you land, buy a new SIM.
For sure, I was going to say
stay connected.
The sustainability aspect of travel.
So for me, the way I approach travel and sustainability is the idea that some of the places that we want to experience, we need to experience and then leave a positive impact. Okay, like I've seen this travel trend whereby people visit somewhere, they think it's cheap because they're probably coming from Europe or US, and then their currency is powerful, so they kind of make so much noise out. This place is so cheap, and then they kind of find a way to make it hard for locals. And then locals are suffering and they're not benefiting in any way. And then, so that for me is a turn off. I prefer people visit for a good reason, like immersion experience, like get to learn about the culture, get to immerse yourself in the local scene and like whatever that how do you call it? With regards to the tourism spaces. So instead of like just visiting because you want to visit because you got the money in cash and all that, like visit to leave a positive impact. Don't visit and make things worse for people. You see, and then find a way to kind of include like locals within maybe your planning or like everything that you do. And then another bit is maybe try to embrace slow travel. People kind of like want to kind of zap through countries quickly because I have like a few days here, so I want to like. I feel if we take our time to like experience and explore places, kind of help, and it all goes into the travel sustainability narrative because you want to keep travel running for a long time, and so we need to travel with purpose. We need to travel slower. We want to travel responsibly because you can afford doesn't mean you should visit and then make it hard for everyone. I'm saying this in reference to this whole Dirty December thing because every other year, I'm going to draw some points. It's like every other year, December is more of like a just overwhelming season for everyone. There's too much traffic. Prices of like hill ride apps just shoots up. Like everything is
it the same in Ghana as well?
Chaotic. It's the same and even worse. Like,
wow.
It's the same and even worse.
I thought that was a Lagos thing.
Actually, they said
it's new.
It's new. Is it new? Is it a new trend in Ghana? Yeah.
Oh, I think it's been there ever since the year of return thing was announced. Like it's been there. So and one thing that our diaspora brothers and sisters do is anytime they leave the country after going to the clubs and things to show their balling energy, they go back to their country and then they request chargebacks on their credit cards, on their debit cards. Like, who does that? How are you requesting chargeback on spending $20 bill, £20 bill? Like, if you can't afford it, why do you come to the country? You come and you clap hop, like you kind of make it feel like, okay, you guys, you're in town, you got the money, like.
Yeah, listen, I just go back. IJGB in the town.
I love it.
You overspend, and then you go to your bank and request chargeback on businesses that are trying to make ends meet, on local businesses. Like, how are you supporting locals? How are you supporting businesses? And then you guys come and make so much noise. I'm going to my country, my homeland, Ghana.
Get ready with me to go to Ghana and Nigeria for 30 December.
So you need to cancel that trend. If I have my way, I would cancel that December because it doesn't make sense. It's buying everything out. It's overpricing us, and it's annoying. We need to regulate this thing very well, else it will lead to something bad.
I agree.
And our brothers in the diaspora,
I don't agree. What are you regulating Dirty December for?
If you're coming to the country, don't take advantage of creatives. Please.
Yeah, I hear you.
You don't need it. If you can't afford it, come back another time.
Ooh.
Don't try to pick up.
Come back another time, okay? Yeah. I love it.
I'm here for it.
I love it.
Do they charge in dollars in Accra as well during Dirty December?
They do.
Oh my God.
Now it's common.
Wow.
Apartments are charging dollars, dollars.
Everything will be so expensive. Like, I went to Nigeria and I could not. It was so expensive.
Okay. That is, you get that. Our diaspora brothers and sisters.
Biggest lesson from this is diaspora brothers and sisters. Don't go back.
Money.
Yes.
Don't go and ball in.
Don't go and ball in and come back home and then be raising chargeback of $20.
Come on.
What is $20? Okay, no, sorry. Maybe I'm speaking from a privileged place. But come on, guys. Come on.
You can do better.
You can do better.
It's peanuts. The rest is peanuts.
It's peanuts, actually, yeah. Because come on. That's like what, your grocery shopping?
Yeah, less than. Yeah,
like,
less than, probably.
Picking up a few stuff.
Okay. So just quick recap of Kofi's points. Our diaspora brothers and sisters, do the needful. If you don't have the money, don't
exploit creatives.
Don't exploit creatives when you come to town. Also, sustainability, right? There's a reason why you're able to come to the country. So make sure that, like, you know, if you can participate in local economy, employ local people, use local people for whatever services, anything that you need, etc. Make sure that you use local people first. Don't be doing chargebacks. Okay, come, please. Guys,
don't be doing chargebacks. Come on.
Don't do that.
Come on.
It's not good.
Travel.
Yeah, and also slow travel, right?
Slow travel.
Like, you know, you have to get everywhere like ASAP, you know. Slow travel, experience the place,
Take your time.
Research where you're going to beforehand.
Research where you're going to beforehand as well. Also, be wary of cultural appropriation. Like, you can engage in the culture, but then do now
make it seem like you are not the owner of the culture.
Right?
You are the custodian. Culture
Engage,
custodian.
participate, keep it moving.
Yeah.
Okay? God bless all of us.
Yeah.
All right. Quickly, let's move into recommendations. My music recommendation for this week is Niniola, This Is Me. I think this is her first album, her second album. If you don't know Niniola is basically Nigeria's biggest house or Afro house.
Akindare loves her so much.
She's incredible.
She's the best since sliced bread.
I don't know
I joke. But you like her though.
Niniola is great. Her voice is insane and her pen game is on point. So check out Niniola's album, This Is Me. It's called. My movie recommendation is Severance on Apple TV, Apple Plus, whatever Apple streaming thing is. That's where Severance is. It's great. I think it's great commentary on capitalism.
It's Apple TV.
Go and watch it. It's fantastic. And my tech recommendation for this week. Stop interrupting me.
Sorry.
My tech recommendation for this week is eBay. Okay. Everything. I'm going to make a video at some point on all the equipment that we used to make the podcast or that I use for my YouTube videos, etc. But basically everything.
You guys, Akindare loves eBay.
Oh my god! Are you seeing the price of camera lenses now?
Do you know what I'm thinking about? Like people that are hearing this podcast that live in Europe and they'll be like, we knew about eBay saying this, but like because you've been in Nigeria all your life.
Using eBay properly. I'm telling you that there are some fantastic deals.
There are some like
There are some clutch deals on eBay. All right. If you're in Nigeria and you can make it happen, do it. Okay.
Do it.
It's going to be cheaper than whatever it is they're selling to you in Nigeria. I almost promise you that. Same thing if you're in Accra, etc. Okay.
Wherever you are in Nigeria and Africa.
Over to you, Kofi.
I think for music recommendations, I'm going to go for Praise You by Kabza De Small. It's like South African amapiano with a sprinkle of gospel.
Nice.
And it's just chill, like a lo-fi. Like
Praise
moment.
You is what you call it. Let me write it down.
Please write it down.
Kabza De Small.
Add it in the description.
Praise You by who?
So, Kabza De Small.
Kabza, that's K-A-B-Z-A.
Z-A, yeah.
K-A-B-Z-A. That's small. So
Yeah, Kabza De Small.
Then small.
Okay.
So I always play gospel music on Sunday, so I'll add this to my playlists so that we can gyrate, we can groove with the Lord in our piano style. You get me? Okay, so you're doing music, right?
I think for movie, 68. Is that the title?
We recommended that last week, Kofi. Yeah, 68.
Oh, okay.
68. Okay, but it's fine. It can be your
recommendation. Like
there's something about this movie because we recommended it last week and Kofi recommended.
You recommended it actually.
Yeah.
Okay, I recommended it. Yeah.
So it's a really powerful movie. Yeah, the acting was just solid, and yeah,
I agree.
Storyline was just good.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I think for tech, I just feel there's just too much hype around this DJI Osmo vlogging camera. And I kind of heard somewhere that if you cannot afford it, it's not really necessary. You can just use a camera and then do your vlog. You don't need to, because it's quite limiting. So, I mean, I don't like going for hype. Okay, so whatever works for you, keep it going. So for tech, I'm not going to recommend. If it's a phone you have, make it worthwhile. Use it when to best
make it work for you.
Yeah.
I second that. And you'll be surprised how much you can create with your phone. You'll be surprised. Okay.
Yeah.
So for all creators out there, don't let the DJI Osmo 3 or 2, whatever it is they are selling now. Don't get caught up in that stuff. Okay. You can always start with whatever you have. I know that for a fact. And Kofi, who is
he does know that
fantastic creator, has already told you guys as well. Okay, over to you.
Me, music recommendation. This is an old music, but I'm recommending it again. Jeremiah Gang. Is it Gang or Gang?
Jiang.
Jiang. Okay, so I'm recommending this Jeremiah Gang. Jiang. Okay, let me take it again. What?
Yeah.
Jeremiah Jiang and Asha Comforter song. I love that song so much. It gives me comfort. So listen to it. Movie. It's not a movie, but reality TV show. Young.
I don't know how I feel about reality. I don't know how I feel about
I don't have any recommendation for movies.
You knew she'd mention it.
Yeah.
All right,
But
scrub
it's a
that.
lot of hype. So
But
that's
the
fine.
show is so good though.
It's your recommendation.
Yeah, I mean,
More
if
drama.
you're into that kind of
Drama is
thing,
good. So-
if you're into reality TV and all of that, yeah, young, famous African.
rich African.
Yeah, so look that up on Netflix.
Take the young loosely. Take the famous
Hey,
loosely.
you're
as
young.
well, 'cause
If you say you're young, I'm
don't
young.
know.
Everybody's young. We're young at art.
there's like one person that's young in that whole thing, or two people
He's
that
young
is
at
young.
art.
But I digress.
I got just
Movie.
1 minute left.
Movie. Nothing. Tech, no tech recommendation. Just normal tips for travel, which is everything we've said. So yeah.
Okay, fabulous. Kofi needs to go, so we're just gonna skip our
Yeah.
Video Square session today.
Before you go, Kofi, just tell the people what you have going on, where they can find you, anything of that sort.
Yeah, where we can find your work, etc.
Find out my work on my website, kofiduche.com, socials at kofigram with a double M.
He's officially a friend of the house now. Right?
Absolutely.
So send all our love to Kofi. Thank you so much for coming on the
Send
show.
my love to your new love.
We appreciate spending the time with us. You can listen to other episodes of the Shrine Podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Spotify,
Amazon Music, anywhere. Just
we are
search
there.
The Shrine Podcast.
We
It
did,
will
yeah.
come up.
We
There's
did.
literally the only
Yep.
The Shrine Podcast everywhere.
Only one.
Only one.
Any other one you see,
It's a counterfeit.
it's a counterfeit.
Yeah.
It's an impersonator. Follow us on social media as well, behind the scenes and other content. On IG, it is theshrine.pod.
Yeah.
On Twitter, we are theshrine.pod. Okay, if you would like to send us feedback or participate in the Village Square segments, one we did not do on this episode, send us an email at this address, theshrinepodcast@gmail.com. Thank you very much for riding with us. Episode 2, season 4. You know, clearly we are back like Nyash.
Oy.
You know, you know what I'm saying?
No, sorry. Apologies, guys. We're back like we never left.
Thank you for riding with us. Before we go off, what's the verdict on this wine?
This wine, actually, I would give it, because perfection is nothing. Can never get perfection. I'll give it 9.5.
9.5.
I think it's really good. I saw some other variants, so I would try out some other variants later
Okay.
on my own, not for the show. But
So Jemima rates 19 crimes, dark red, a 9.5. I'll give it, I'll rate it a 7. I think I'll give it a 7. No, I'll give it a 7 because I think the initial
You don't know anything about wines anyway, so the initial what?
The initial taste it was a bit,
Oh, but like then as you now
chocolate and everything, but like as I drink on, it's coming to me. So it's not bad. It's not bad at all. I'm not saying it's bad. It's
No, 7 is good.
Come
7
on,
is a
man.
good number. 7 is good. 7. I don't. Okay, well, I guess 7 is good. I was gonna say I don't know why I gave it a 9.5 because I feel like I've had some other wines that are actually like good as
That are
well.
better than it. Come on, you have wines that are better.
Yeah, of course. But like it's actually really good wine as well. So
Maybe you give it a 9 because this was your selection and you wanted.
maybe I gave it a 9 because I'm high.
Oh,
Because like you didn't tell. How many
90
percent
crimes
does it
is
have?
working.
Oh, 13.5. That's not bad. That's actually kind of low.
Port is more alcoholic than that.
But yeah, it was
the
good
wine
one.
is doing the work that the wine is supposed to be doing. Hence why Jemima is, feeling it. So okay, that's been it. 9 for the wine and 7 from me. Thank you so much for riding with us. Till next time. Peace out.
Adios.